Welcome everyone to one more masterclass of StartupJob.in. StartupJob.in is a dedicated job portal for Indian startups. I'm your host and your host, Rahul Sharma, working as a Head of MarCom at StartupJob.in. Here we aim to automate the entire recruitment life cycle of startup employers. Our company started last year in September 2019, and beta version of website launched on 1st May 2020 on International Labour Day. Masterclass Series is a weekly learning platform to share tips to recruiters, startup co-founders, and job seekers equally. UpX Series is all about sharing tips, tricks, and trends which can benefit co-founders and founders of startups. And today, we are going to talk about a learn on digital marketing. In this pandemic, when the whole world is falling down, everyone is thinking to survive, but how we can thrive? If you go back, thousands of years back, and look at the Aristotle way of persuasive marketing, ethos, pathos, and logos. Every time we have new version of marketing, we say classic definition of marketing, 4 P's, putting the right product in right place, at right price, at right time. So from agriculture revolution to industrial revolution to information revolution, we are now living in digital revolution. Yes, my friends. If you know the right tools of digital marketing, you can scale your business, your brand to newer heights. But how? I don't know. Maybe you might not be aware of it, but need not to worry about it. We have a special person who has experience, who has the knowledge, who has the expertise, who will share the tips and tricks of the business. And by knowing them, you can run your business, take your business to newer heights. We have none other than Nayan Mittal. Nayan Mittal is a CEO of SocioLabs. SocioLabs is a data-driven digital marketing company based out of New Delhi. Nayan holds experience as a seasoned professional marketer with over 100 plus successful campaigns over the past 5 years across many countries. He is also a seasoned speaker and effective leader. For the benefit of the guest, our masterclass is divided into 2 parts. Part 1, where speakers share insights about the topic, and part 2, where we can have questions and answers. So wherever you are, join me. Help me welcome Nayan Mittal. We are fortunate to have him as a master speaker to talk about Digital Marketing Masterclass. Nayan Mittal, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you for that warm introduction. And thank you everyone for being here. Today, आपके साथ हम थोड़ी बहुत बातचीत रखेंगे on how to go around with digital marketing. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are actually doing it. But are we actually getting there? These are a couple of fundamental questions that I will be looking at. I would love to take you through it. So thank you, UpX, for hosting this session. And we will be beginning our session right now. Before I get to it, एक सबसे basic question आता है यार कि नयन मित्तल कौन है? तो मैं आपको एक अपने बारे में थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ. If you are new to it, I am holding 5 years experience into the industry, and we are Google and Facebook certified partners to begin with. So trust me, whatever content we are going to be delivering out to you, it's been tested, it's been proven and applied to our business and to our clients as well. Now, let's establish some ground rules. If it's not online, it didn't happen. We need to seek that all my business that is going to be happening from now on, or all the activities that I'm doing online right now, are meant to add productivity to my business or just to do more productive activities like branding, or other specific activities like those. Now, here you have Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Now, all these 5 platforms have their own unique USP. So we will be sharing that as well. Now, let's talk about the agenda. Today, we are going to be talking about 4 basic essential topics around our masterclass. Now, the first one's going to be that what is digital marketing? Now, a lot of us have been hearing a lot about it. So there might be some good or negative reviews around it, or you might be knowing somebody who does digital marketing or is posting things online, and you just wanted to know that what it is all about. Is it so easy to get started with? So let's dig a little deeper on it. Now, this is something that I have to make a clarity on. Digital marketing, by the very definition, senses out that you need to go online and do activities on a digital platform or an online platform to promote or to create new business. Now, this is where I personally want to take a different route. According to me, digital marketing is not that you make a beautiful design, share it on WhatsApp, share it on Facebook or Instagram. That's not digital marketing according to me. That's just you designing and posting your content out. The true essence of digital marketing is when you actually implement the tools plus the strategies to it. Imagine today, if it's my birthday and I'm posting a picture with my friends, would you call it digital marketing? No, right? Why do you do the same for your business? Why do you just want to make a poster and send out? Let's dig a little deeper on it. So when people ask me, what is digital marketing or kya hai digital marketing, I have a very simple answer to say. If making posters and just sharing them online would fetch me business, then maybe Mukesh Ambani would have been doing the same thing. So for this, we use Ji ban gaye poster, nahi. We are not going to be working on posters, but instead we are going to be working on data for digital marketing. So here we are going to be making our own niche, that digital marketing is not making posters and sharing online, but instead it's utilizing these tools and getting results from my branding or lead gen. How do we do it? Let's get into that understanding. Now for this, as we was discussing earlier, the second thing that we need to look at is expectations versus reality. A lot of times this happens that people get started with digital marketing without realizing that why do they need it? Why do they want to get started? And what platform is the best for me? Now, let's take a very simple example of this. Uma Shankar is a business owner. Uma Shankar runs this Startup India. Now imagine if Uma Shankar needs to reach out to other companies to get more business by making them clients. So what is he giving out as a service? We first need to look at that from a digital marketer's perspective. So first, we'll see that Uma Shankar is giving a HR recruitment or a specialized recruitment services for startups along with trainings and other facilities. So when you pen down these activities, you actually get started with your digital marketing. Yes, you heard me right. You need to actually start penning down your services, what offerings you need to give out so that you can make a proper goal to work with. So let's get back with our example of Uma Shankar. Uma Shankar is doing recruitments for a startup. Now, a startup has certain technical aspects to look at. The startup is looking at getting the best resource out there, maybe at the best cost to the company. And at the same time, there are so many hundreds of platforms that they have applied to. Now, how does a HR recruiter like Uma Shankar get business? The first instinct that naturally kicks in is, yeah, I'll make some posters, I'll put it on Facebook, I'll share it on my WhatsApp network, and slowly someone's going to notice it. And I'm just going to use some Instagram hashtags and Facebook hashtags to work around with it. Now, this used to work back in the day in 2012 when the algorithms were such, Facebook and Instagram, that it could actually accommodate. But now, since everyone's using it, I have to burst your bubble. It does not work anymore. So what he needs to do is, after he pens down all his services, he needs to sit and understand the client as well. Here, in the first setting of goal, you need to make sure once the services are noted down, you need to see what kind of business I'm running. All right, so we'll do a simple activity with this. Uma Shankar, I would love to have you as a volunteer for me. If you could just unmute and you can just show your face, we can have a little interaction and we can see how you can make a little marketing goal for yourself. Amazing. Today, Uma Shankar is going to get a free consulting from a digital marketer. So I hope, Uma, you are excited about it because this is a very expensive exercise. We are going to be doing it free and it's going to be happening live for everyone.
That's so nice of you, Nayan. Thanks a lot.
Uma, we were discussing earlier that if you are a recruiter and a startup is like, for example, a client for you, is it a very realistic and practical scenario for you right now?
No, it's yes, it's what we do on a daily basis.
All right. So for people who are not from digital marketing background, there's a term called B2B and B2C, which in easy words is that a B2B is a business which is serving other businesses as clients, and a B2C is a business which is directly getting in touch with end customers or consumers. Now, that we have that understanding, we need to see what kind of clients Uma Shankar deals with. So Uma, what is the kind of clientele you deal with? Is it a B2B or a B2C clientele?
It's always B2B because we are giving services to other companies, other businesses.
Amazing. So here we have an understanding that B2B platforms are there. Now Uma, before we get started to what we are going to be doing, how have you been promoting your business currently? Besides your referrals and network, which you have created over your experience, how are you doing it digitally currently?
So typically, yes, the posters are an important part of it. And we have created social media assets in the form of Facebook page, LinkedIn page, different pages on each and every social media channel. And we are communicating the information over there. So the posters are one, the job requirements are the another, and the milestones, achievements, we keep on sharing. So these are the three key areas.
Amazing. So he is doing a lot of other activities to begin with. Now, Uma Shankar, what if I tell you, you can do less and achieve more? Is that something that you would be interested in?
Yes, obviously, yes.
All right. So let's look at it and break it into different aspects. All right. So we were discussing every platform has different ways to work with. All right. Google is a platform where a customer goes to check for some services or some queries that they have. It's more of an impulse buying that I'm going either to inquire or to make an end decision. Facebook is a platform where as a user, I'm consuming content and I'm affiliated with groups. And as for my history, things are going to be popped up on. Similarly, on Instagram, it's a little similar to Facebook, but the kind of user base and the people using it is more youth and millennial oriented. So if I am running a business, I need to see which three platforms work well. Now, looking at LinkedIn and Twitter, now this is where things get really interesting. Because in LinkedIn, things are very B2B oriented. That is, you won't find anybody buying any random 1 or 2 rupee commodity on LinkedIn. Because here, it's a network place for professionals to interact, to either promote their businesses or make networking relationships or push their products through LinkedIn marketing. And again, Twitter is as a concept not very familiarized in India with its full potential. I say so because there are a lot of bots and a lot of other activities where businesses are not getting their full attention. So if we take Uma Shankar's example, out of these 5 platforms, we will now start with the process of elimination to make things easy. So I would be first checking out Twitter as a platform. I will not be investing much activity if I'm an HR recruiter for startups. Why? Because while I'm going on another platform, it's not adding any utility to me. I can tweet about things, I can do many other activities, but it's not adding any utility. I need to make a very precise decision that today I need to step in and see what platform is best for me. I would rather invest more energy in LinkedIn than working on all 4 platforms. A simple jugaad for this is that you create a basic profile and presence on all platforms and you share the same creative. Well said, that jugaad works, but there is something even better. Let's talk about that. How it works is that, Uma, if you could just turn your camera on again, I would love to have you again on screen. So as Uma, we were discussing, if I tell you today, Uma, today we are only going to be focusing on LinkedIn and Google and are not going to be focusing on the other 3. The first thought that might be popping in your head will be, why is he saying so? Doesn't having a basic online presence work for me, even if it's the same poster? All right. So now if I tell you that your customers are there on LinkedIn and Google, but promoting to them is going to be very expensive, what's the first thought that's coming to your head right now?
So, we need to figure out that which channel is best suited for our customers set. Also, in the sense that how much time and effort are required to acquire one customer. So that's also important. So cost obviously is most important.
So digital makes it very easy for you because everything's very automated to begin with. All right. So in Uma's example, if I say by the process of elimination, we have cut down Twitter, and I'm going to be focusing more energy on LinkedIn and Google to get in touch with corporates and startups. And if I'm also running a different plan where students or freshers can get in touch with me, I can keep a social media profile on Facebook and Instagram to begin with, because youth is more oriented towards them. But for the paying clients, where the cream comes in, where he gets the honey and money to the home, is on LinkedIn and Google. Now, हमने अभी decide किया that what is the service we are promoting, what kind of business it is, and what platforms I'm going to be working on. Now, the next part comes in, how to go about it. How to go about it completely dependent on the first 2 factors: who your target customer is and what is the kind of offering you're giving. So, Uma, this is something where I need to have a very interactive session with you. All right. So, Uma, tell me one thing. On an average, if I talk about a recruiter, what's the average industry rate that they charge around?
8.33% is what most of the consultancies charge.
So your service fee is 8.33%, right? So what is a key differentiator if I need to promote you out, that I can create a USP that your business stands in front of other businesses as a superior entity?
So quality of the sourcing is one key.
All right. So one USP is quality. Besides quality, what other factors do you think your business can deliver better than the other competitors?
So better account management, in the sense that our people understand the client's business scope, thereby they can figure out the most suitable match in terms of candidate.
All right.
So that understanding of the business is another aspect.
All right. So these 2 are going to be your final USPs to work with majorly, or there are more as well?
Faster response can be third, that we can give you turnaround time in a faster way. Yes, definitely not cost. We are not going to talk about the cost, or we reduce that aspect. But yes, quality, speed, and better account of business understanding.
Makes sense. So here we have a couple of USPs to work with. So if today you have no idea about what my business's USPs are, please make a note of it. You need to at least have 3. So Uma talked about 3 USPs right now, which is service quality, timely response, and their entire process to account management. Now, let's take it into a realistic scenario. It happens that companies get in touch with recruiters, but they might not be getting response in real time or a good candidature. That's why they're still looking out for more people like Uma Shankar in the market. But Uma Shankar is sitting at his home due to COVID, and he needs to get in touch with these clients. Now, let's see how digital marketing can help out. Now, you have 3 solutions to 3 unique problems. So your communication on digital marketing has to be in such a way that you incorporate all 3 of them, or either one at a time, so that when it reaches out to the customer, I should actually get some utility out of it. You get tempted when you see Wednesday Domino's or Freaky Friday Domino's offers. It's not because Domino's does it from the kindness of their hearts. I wish they do. But they do it so that your mouth salivates and you are more tempted. Because if you would have seen that pattern, those ads are generally available during 12 to 2 and in the evening time when you are actually hungry and thinking of ordering food. Now, the same principle needs to be applied here. We need to make sure that if Uma Shankar has these 3 USPs, it's targeted, packaged, and delivered to the right audience. So here, I'm going to make it very easier. I'm a startup who continuously looks for hiring. Now, why should I be working with Uma? I should be working with Uma because he can solve all these 3 problems which I might be looking at. But I don't know Uma. And sending me a request on LinkedIn and Facebook might go into a spam. Or if I am not liking his page, then again, it's not working out. So how do I go about it? The best way to go about is using ads. It's called lead generation on social media. If anybody of you has ever managed a Facebook page, you get an option called boosting. You click on it, and then it gives you certain number of things where you can define who you want to share your ads to or who you want this to be seen for. And you can always put the money there. We won't be getting into detailed aspects of it today, but I would love to take you with that as well. So here, when Uma wants to reach out to me, he has to decide who his customer is. So B2B maybe, he has to decide that what is the person who I'm looking out for. So that person needs to be from Delhi. So Uma makes in his marketing list, he makes a list that what is the location of the client or the customer base I need to target. So if you're a B2B business or a B2C business, you define the areas where you need to target. So for example, if Uma can cater to Pan-India, but he still chooses to work with Delhi-based organizations, because if anybody reaches out to him, the chances of converting that client are higher. So it makes more sense for him to cater to Delhi-based audience rather than going pan-India. This is a decision you need to make depending on the competition you have and the business you are into. Once you define the geographical area, you look out for patterns. You look out for patterns like designations, patterns like interest, patterns like whether it's a certain product where demographics are going to play, like if it's a female hygiene product or a feminine product, there is no point showing it to a guy who's in 20s or 30s, but it makes more sense to only show it to female audience. In Uma Shankar's case, it's gender neutral. Everybody is going to be seeing those ads. So when we look at marketing sheet of Uma, it's going to come out like this. It's a B2B platform where Uma is going to be using heavily LinkedIn, Google, and certain aspects of Facebook and Instagram to work with, firstly. Secondly, all his communications, messages or posts need to be in such a way that they talk about his USP. Rather than just wishing Diwali or the Shera and the wishes around it, we actually focus on pain pointers and try to talk about what problems we have solved or we have the capability to solve. Now, once that packaging is ready for delivering, we just noted down that Uma needs to target businessmen who just are startup owners in the geography of Delhi. And when he does that, he gets to reach out to his potential customer. Now, you all might be wondering, all right, there are specific technical ways to go around it and reaching the customer. Now, Uma, the next question that every businessman has on their head is, how much money will I spend? This might sound expensive. Now, this is somewhere where a lot of people get discouraged with digital marketing. So today, if you're a digital marketer, let me tell you something. The industry out there, or if you're a startup owner or business owner, everybody is saying the same thing. Boss, I don't have big budgets. If you get to hear it in your head from your client, or if you're a freelancer, or if you're just starting off and you also don't have much money, congratulations, we are all in the same boat. The big brands, small brands, it's never enough. So you need to realize that it is okay, even if it's a small budget to work with. Because when you start small, your goal also has to come smaller. So this is where things get really interesting to work with. Chitte ki ye bottle hai, the amount of money this bottle costs in Delhi is actually the amount of money you need to get your digital marketing started. Of course, GST and taxes apply because government restrictions are there for this bottle also, and for GST applies on your Facebook ads as well. So 4,000 rupees after including GST is the minimum amount of budget that you need if you're a small business looking to go online. Wondering how 4,000 rupees makes sense? Now, Uma, if today, before the session started, if I would have asked you, Uma, if you have 5,000 rupees for marketing and you can connect with your customers and can actually convert them, you would have said that I'm bluffing around it, right?
Yes, it sounds like that it is too less to really attract the right set of customers.
All right. So today we have one case that it does not work. What if I tell you it works? Wouldn't that be interesting to look at? So, isko dekhne ke liye na, we'll play a very simple game. So, everybody who's here, I would request all of you to open up a website called SocioLabs. www.sociolabs.in. So, today we are going to be showing you a very simple activity on how you can actually make customers to connect with you better. All right. So this is an activity open for all the audience members and people watching it anywhere in the world. You can open up this website and we are going to be tracking data live and showing you how you can do this. So if anybody can see, they need to go up and open up this website called www.sociolabs.in. Now, the moment anybody enters into this website, there's nothing very special or unique about it. That's the first impression, just a website. What if I tell you that just by the virtue of coming on this website, you are now my customer? All right. Very bold statement for somebody who just claimed that 5,000 rupees is all what Uma Shankar needs for marketing. And another claim. Let's look at what this claim could be all about. So if you all could just look away from your phones and desktop screens while looking at my website. You can always check that out later. What I wanted to show you was that the moment you enter to my website, digital marketing has the capability to track data, of course, with your permission. Now, what happens is the moment all 5 of the people who are currently on my website came, their data is getting recorded. So if you could just see it on my screen, you could see that 5 people are here with their desktop and phones. 4 people are logged in from their desktops and 1 person is from their mobile. And I can also see the locations of where these people are from and can also see which pages they are on. So 3 people are too lazy, they aren't checking out my website. They're still on the home page. 1 person is on About Us and 1 person is on a PPC page to work with. Now, Uma, this is how I deal with my business. I have multiple services and what I've done is on all services, I've created multiple pages to work with. So whenever I roll out social media, I make sure that if people read that content, they land upon my website. Or if I'm doing any activity on Google, they land upon my website. And I can actually track not just the likes, but how many people are actually coming down to my website to get the necessary information to work with. Now, this is not interesting, guys. Let me tell you that this is just the beginning. What if I tell you that the very virtue of you entering into my website, the screen that you show, the people going on to different pages, their data is just the baby steps. It's nothing right now because what I'm going to tell you is I'm inside your phones right now. The moment you entered, I have activated some codes and snippets that are actually going to help me in retargeting my ads to you. That is, that if you're going to websites like Amazon, you must be seeing, yeah, I'm seeing some product on Amazon, and after a while it's popping up on my Facebook and Instagram. It's popping up everywhere I'm going. It's popping up on my YouTube ads as well. Now, what if we start using the same for our business? So Shankar, from this very day onwards, you're going to be seeing my ads on your Facebook and Instagram. Now imagine if you go to if you as a recruiter go to a startup, you pitch in a meeting or you send in emailers or you send in any LinkedIn messages or blogs, and you just send them to your website. Data gets tracked. How about it? It's just something where your brand needs more visibility, and that gets easily catered. So that brings me to my next section of how my website could be made my biggest asset. And that's what we are going to be talking about as well. Now, let's look into it. If I am seeing any ads online, I definitely want some convergence to happen to me. So when people say, how can my website give me business? We just saw how a website can give you business. But I did not tell you the later half of it. What kind of ads Uma is going to be seeing? Or what kind of ads you guys can expect after coming to the website? So the moment you entered my website, your data was getting triggered. And when next time you go on Facebook and Instagram, you will be seeing this beautiful orange color cat. And this is going to be telling you that, hey, Uma, catch clients like fishes. You can see this ad because you visited my website. Don't you want the same? See, over here, I'm a digital marketer who's telling you and educating you about this concept. Now, think from my client's perspective. If I tell you the same thing, that I'm solving a problem for you, and you start seeing those ads, isn't that something that's going to make you very more impulse to make a buying decision with me? Or to understand that, hey, this is a quality service to begin with. Now, let's go back to Uma's example. Uma talks about a service where he can give timely responses. Now, imagine if I go to Uma's website and it has the same capability of digital marketing. But I did not sign up with Uma because of X number of reasons. Now, tomorrow, Uma has started using digital marketing, and these ads are popping up on my timeline on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Everywhere I go, Uma is there, tracking me down, hunting me down. All right. So what kind of communication Uma could have used here? He could have played on my pain factors. Are you not happy with your current recruiters? How about it's time to change? Start dating your new recruiters. And then we can give our brands. Or you can keep anything professional to the degree of how your brand is perceived around it. And definitely those eye-catching moments are where your customers actually think that this really makes sense. Now, again, there's one thing that I forgot to mention about deliberately. What if I tell you, Uma, that I will be spending a little money to show you ads? So, Uma, could you unmute yourself? How much money do you think I will personally be spending on Uma as an individual? There are 5 people today who came to my website. There were 40 people earlier this morning in the other 2 sessions. Today, I'm going to be having 50 people coming into my website. So if I talk about you specifically, how much money do you think as an individual I'm going to be spending out on you to market my services? Just a disclaimer, I'm a very conjuice banya to begin with, so I don't want to spend much. But how much money do you think I'll be spending on you, Uma?
So I think 100, 200 rupees per person.
Uma, what if I tell you that's too much? Go lower.
Okay.
How much now?
Maybe 50.
How about lower?
No, then what will be the throughput? Whether we will be able to get some client or not.
But I always like 5 rupees ka dairy milk, because that's the actual amount of money I'll be spending on you as well. 5 rupees. Now, ek thought aata hai, 5 rupees, is he lying to us straight up? Because he's taking a session. So let's prove that and let's test it out. Ki ads dikhti bhi hai. How does it work? वो तो थोड़ा समझ लिया है, but ads actually दिखती है. Is he actually telling the truth about 5 rupees? So let's look into it. So this is a Facebook panel that I have, and I'm going to be sharing my screen for that. So this is a Facebook panel that I use, and this is a panel which we use to show ads to people. Now I've set up a data from 1st of July till 31st of July. And what I've done is, it's going to be showing me that how much money I've actually spent around. So let's scroll a little and see how much money have I actually spent in the last couple of weeks and months to begin with. All right. Here we are looking at our data. So Uma, if you could see, it's the same ad I was talking about earlier, right? Uma?
Yes.
The same ad we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Now let's look into the total amount of money I have spent in the month of July. So could you please read out this figure for everyone here?
This is 464 rupees, just 464 rupees.
So the total of 464 rupees is what actually I spent on my total marketing. I run a digital marketing company, and that's the only amount of expenditure of marketing cost that I incur for my business. All right, that's the power of digital marketing, what I wanted to talk about. And Uma, could you also read this?
The reach is 240 people.
240 people saw my ads for a total of 744 times. That gives us an average of 3 people. One person, my apologies, one person saw my ads 3 times. Now that's where things get really impressive to work with. So in the initial, I said that making posters is not going to fetch you business. But when you apply digital marketing with a little bit of data and you define your audience, you make content, you send people to your website, or you do other activities and send people your website. And when people come to your website, things actually become magical. Just with 5 rupees, we are going to be showing ads to Uma Shankar. Uma Shankar, be ready for it as well. That same goes for all of you as well. So digital marketing has the moment to do all of that. But now the next question that pops up is, Nayan, I understand now that if somebody is coming to my website, you do something magical, which is not actually magical, but very easy things to do with. It's called retargeting for budding digital marketers. There are tutorials for it online as well. You can easily set it up and use it for your business. But what about the earlier mention of 5,000 rupees I spoke about? How does Uma Shankar get new clients if he's not able to get anybody to his website? How does he still get new clients for himself? So what if the earlier statement, we put it again into perspective with the kind of audience we made for him? So Uma Shankar says that, Nayan, I only want to work with IT companies who are working in India, but I currently want to serve IT companies based out of Delhi and NCR. So on Facebook, I will come on a panel like this. I will create an ad, and accordingly, I will run those ads. And when I run those ads, only people who are business owners are going to be seeing those ads, and he's only going to be spending 5K on it as a marketing budget. Here, you need to make sure that you cannot become a billionaire or a millionaire with 5,000 rupees. You need to get that thing straight. You need to first optimize your campaigns. The first couple of days or weeks that you're running your ads, try to see, are you getting results? If you're getting results, only then start increasing the money. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Till then, go slow, put small budgets and see if you're actually getting leads or are actually people coming to your website through these ads to work with. All right. So this is how you work on this concept in totality. So today, we discussed these things. Besides these, digital marketing has another very wonderful thing to work with. Google. Now, Google Baba has a lot of potential. Google Baba tells you everything when you ask for it and can help you connect with customers. But Google Baba has some algorithms and some very strict guidelines to operate on. For that, you need to understand those guidelines and get moving with it to get to your customers. You can either do so with this thing called Google Ads or with another thing called search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is basically whenever you want to come on Google, organically. That is, you don't want to spend any money, but want to come on top results of Google. All the businessmen in the house are thinking that that's the spot I want to be at, free and publicity. That's where I want to be. That's where I want my leads to come from. And that's very much possible when you actually use SEO as a service from Google. Besides that, Google ads are ads that you see on YouTube, are ads that you see on Google, or those shopping ads to work with. I'll give you a little example of what a Google result looks like. So for example, if I want to look for recruiters in Noida, which is somewhere where I should find Oma, there are a couple of people who are coming on search results. So these are search results that are coming on top of my screen. Now these search results are coming organically because there is nothing written as ad on top of it. So if I click on it, I can simply go to their websites. The other one is that if I want to search for a digital marketing company in Delhi, some people are running ads for it. So if I click on any of these, I'm actually deducting money from their accounts and they're incurring a cost to show me ads. Now, why did I tell you all that? I told you all of that so that you can get confused and not get into the analysis paralysis. Because when you get started with digital marketing, the first thing that you're going to do after this is you're going to Google things up. And when you do Google things up, just like in the last 3 minutes I spoke about 5 different services, those 5 different services are going to pop up. And that's what you need to avoid. When you go very specific in digital marketing at one moment at a time, you can do better things to work with. You don't have to go to all other platforms to work with. So whatever I've mentioned in the last couple of minutes, these are all the information you're going to get bombarded when you go online. And that's not somewhere you need to go. First, sit back, focus on your strategies, sit back, focus on who your customer is and what kind of traits they have. And then run ads and get leads. Because 5,000 is not a very large amount to work with if it can help you close at 8.33% of a commission from a client every single month. And if that could be achieved with 5 rupees from a repeat one, it's always a win, win, and win. We'll take your questions from now.
Thank you, Nayan, for sharing the great insights. It was a very thought-provoking session. So now we open the stage for any questions if you have.
So I have one question. Then you have shown us Google Analytics page where 5 of us data was coming. And
Yes.
how can we show the ad to those 5 guys? Is it through Google Ads or Facebook Ads also has got that possibility of getting data from the trackers of Google Analytics?
That's a good question to have around. So Umar Shankar, Google Analytics is a free tool that anybody can add to their website. A. B. Google Analytics only tells you what kind of audience or what kind of people came to my website. It will not specifically tell me that Umar Shankar and Rahul came to my website. But instead, what it's going to be telling me is that few people from Delhi who were interested in such and such page went on, spent so and so time, actually came to my website, which actually helped me to understand more about them and what kind of consumers are coming to my website. Now that covers the Google aspect of it. Now the other aspect which you asked for is how do I connect these people and start showing them ads? For that, you'd use this thing called Pixel. I did not want to go very technical since most of us are beginners here. There's a thing called Pixel. It's a code, a snippet, basically a code that you can generate from your Facebook Ads Manager. And when you apply it on your website, it can easily get interlinked with all your data that's coming in. And all the people that are coming into your website, they're going to be seeing those ads. That's exactly what I did with you guys. But my processes are a little more complicated. This is just a very easy version of which I've explained to you guys.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Nayan, for answering. I have a few questions. Before that, if anyone has any question, please you can come forward and ask.
I have a question. So, Nayan, I have a question related to app marketing.
Sabjot, do you have any question?
So, can you hear me, guys?
Please speak loudly. Yes, Sabjot.
So, can you hear me now? Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You're audible.
Yeah. So my question is basically to app related marketing. So there are two things, Nayan, as one is pay for click and pay for brand awareness. So I want to understand basically, is there cost difference? Like, will they deduct extra? Will they require extra money for pay per click as compared to brand awareness? Because I want to understand basically the main thing for me is getting the installs. So what would be the cost difference, budget difference for these two things?
So over here, Sarabjot, you answered your questions indirectly while you were questioning them. All right. So the first thing that you need to look at is you don't need to decide the platform. The platform gets easily and automatically decided when you decide on the goal. Here, you have two things which are your pain point. You want visibility and you want active users coming onto your app, right? Now, you also need to see who's your target audience. If the target audience is B2B, the strategies are going to be different. If it's a B2C, strategies are going to be very different. So let's take example of today. I want to promote an app like Zoom, which started off as a B2B. Then today it's a B2C and a B2B app as well. Let's stick to a B2B platform right now. So if I want to get you to install my Zoom app on your phone or your desktop, what do I do is first I need to see who do I want to target at first. Sarabjot, when you decide that where you want to target at, then you decide which platforms are going to work with. It might so often that you might actually not go for Google ads. What if that consumer is not actually going on Google? There are no searches for it. Or even if there are, Google is coming out expensive for you. So when you actually sit down and see your goal, accordingly you can take a call on it. A. B. Coming down after deciding your goal, you can decide whether you want to run ads on Google or any other platforms to work with. The third one that you asked for is that Google pe ads run karna hai or the branding visibility parts of it. So buddy, here you need to see that what route you want to take up depending on how viral or how easy or user friendly your app is or what version it is on. If it's in a beta testing version, I would advise you not to run ads on it actively. Get some good engagements around it and run slow ads on small limited targets. If you're running a full-fledged app, then I would suggest based on your budget, decide a geography and run ads accordingly.
Yeah, thanks. That answered my question.
Thank you, Nayan. Thank you so much. So, anyone has any question? Then, what if I want to have a brand awareness, but I don't have any website? So, what would be my first step?
All right. So you need to think of it from a offline perspective as well. All right. I am selling anything offline, like a mobile phone, but I don't have a store. Would you be very engaged in buying it from me? I am just taking a cycle and roaming around and just selling phones to random people. Would you be very inclined towards buying such a commodity from me?
It would be difficult for me initially.
Initially. All right. What if I had a store instead? Would that make things a little easier if I would have been giving you better discounts or better things to work with?
Yes. It will.
Similarly, now think of it from an online perspective. Even if you're working from home or your business is operating from home, it still needs to have an address. Now online, how do you determine an address? A simple website. Now I understand that a couple of people do have run successful businesses without having a website. But how things have changed in the last 6 months, you need to factor those in as well. Getting a website is very easy. There are so many platforms to work with. If anybody is new to it, you can write a couple of them down. One is Wix, one is WordPress. There are few more around it that you can actually look at to it. You actually don't need to code so much. These are very easy CMS-based platforms. You can Google it, CMS-based platforms, and it's very easy to work with. And they're very cheap, somewhere between 29 to 39 rupees if you're looking at Wix, which is a monthly expense to look at. So if you are running something where brand awareness is needed and you don't have a website, I don't think 29, 30 rupees is something monthly that would be a problem if you're looking at Wix as a platform or WordPress as a platform. It's a little expensive from that, but it still works wonderfully. So when you run ads, people actually get to your websites or actually see your post. Because likes don't translate into business. Business translates into business.
Okay, thank you. Now I have the answer. So one last question. If I have to target my audience or my clients, what is the right time, best time? Like in the morning, in the afternoon, to run ads? And which is the best way, like Google ads or Facebook ads?
Okay. So Rahul, आज एक चीज बड़ी clear समझनी है हमें that whenever I want to get started with anything, I first need to decide on my goal. I will always circle back to my goal. Even after running hundreds of campaigns, the first thing that we do is we take out a pen, paper, or a Word file, and we actually note down what my service is all about, what it's going to cater to. And accordingly, what time it has to go out to. For example, if I'm running a service-based business like Umar's, and I'm showing ads at 2 p.m. at night, or I'm showing posts at 2 p.m. or 11 p.m. at night, where my CEO or founder is actively not using their Facebooks or Instagram. Agreed that it stays for 24 hours, but the utility and impact loses its effectiveness. Now, to look at it, the best way is that you try and test out different timings for your business. Everything can get easily tracked. So if you are actually running something on your social media or LinkedIn profiles or Instagram profiles, you can actually start testing it out. You can have content for 7 different days and you can see which day I'm getting more likes or what time works out best for me. In my opinion, 5 p.m. works wonderfully. I'm scheduling most of my posts at 5 p.m., but that's very client specific.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so thank you, Nayan. So we have, if anyone has any question, Nayan is here. So please come forward and ask your question regarding marketing, regarding website, regarding any tips and tricks of the trade. I have a lot of questions. So
Nayan, I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Nayan, like suppose I have a website for my business and I don't want to go for the search engine optimization SEO. So what you suggest, which type of content I should use in my website so that automatically go up, or that is only happen only if we use SEO services?
Sir, इसका ना बड़ा simple example है. Do you have a kid?
Yes.
तो मैं कहता हूँ मुझे ना बच्चा चाहिए पर मैं मेरे बच्चे का नाम नहीं रखूंगा. ठीक है?
I have a website. So
Similarly, इसका easy example अगर मैं लूँ, मेरा एक बच्चा है, मैंने उस बच्चे का नाम नहीं रखा है. ठीक है? वो बच्चा भी बड़ा हो रहा है. ठीक है? उसका नाम नहीं है कुछ. तो सबने उसको अलग अलग नामों से बुलाना शुरू कर दिया है, बट उसकी कोई आइडेंटिटी क्रिएट नहीं की है. तो मैं अब उसकी अटेंडेंस लेना चाहता हूँ, मैं ले नहीं पा रहा हूँ. ठीक है? सिमिलरली आप सोचिए गूगल कैसे आपको ढूंढेगा अगर आपका कंटेंट नहीं है, आपके कीवर्ड्स नहीं है एसईओ के लिए. एसईओ बहुत लंबी चौड़ी चीज नहीं है. आप जो कंटेंट देखते हैं ना,
which type, if I have to enhance the optimization of my website without taking a paid services, so which type of content I should go?
तो अमित, यहाँ पे करंटली आपका जो क्वेश्चन होता है इसमें 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड होता है. पहला होता है आपका एसईओ में ना एक कीवर्ड्स होता है और एक कंटेंट होता है. ठीक है? कीवर्ड्स इफ यू टेक वेरी स्पेसिफिक, दे आर वेरी टारगेटेड.
Okay.
Alright? For example, if I say recruiters in Noida, that's a very targeted. But if I say job giving companies in Noida, okay, that is also meaning the same thing. But how people search for things differs. So you first need a clarity on keywords to begin with. If you want to come on Google, you will have to have your keywords. There is no other way to work around with it. And your content is written around it. So in case you're wondering that, hey, Nayan, I have a website. I don't know what keywords are. So a simple approach could be that rather than going very specific and scientific with approach, you can just note down your services, and those services or products can become your keywords. For example, if you are making app development, your app development in Delhi becomes a keyword without you knowing that. So even if today you have a website, it does have keywords on it. It's just that Google is not reading them up properly because you're not following all the rules of Google, or you don't have very scientific approach to keywords.
I suppose we can do that, like if we have to show our website optimization on a specific reason, like if I am doing the business for US client or UK clients and I want my site optimization to come on top while they are looking for that, not in India. So do we that?
That is actually a really good question, Amit. I'm really happy that you asked that. This is a very real life scenario which happens. So if Amit decides to do business in USA, he can easily cater to the American market, and he could not have any physical visibility there. But if he has a website and the keywords are written in such a way that all of them are targeting and circling back to US market, then it can work and it can start showing up in the results. For example, we just said a few minutes back, app developer in Delhi. All he needs to do is app developer in Chicago, app developer in New York, and he needs to make sure that all the addresses and everything else that he has mentioned are going and showcasing that it's a US-based business, or if he is doing it's running from India and he's showing up the address from India, he mentions in the entire aspects that their services can be catered in USA.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Nayan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nayan. So, Nayan, I have one quick question. So,
Please.
what do you think, which content is being consumed more? Like if I had to run ads, so it should be like having a poster in the ad or a video content. So which one is better? And why?
So this is something that a lot of us are actually debating about in our digital marketing industry as well, because ever since the platforms like TikTok and ease of user content creation has come up, it's very easy to make content which is engaging now. So earlier, a simple post would have had more presence to work with. Now video is more preferred because as users, we respond better to videos. If I say that, hey, my session is happening in form of a video and in form of a picture, my chances of opening that video up are higher. So my chances of conversion also get higher.
Okay, thank you, Nayan. So anyone has any question? Because Nayan is here and answering all the questions, and we hope all the myths regarding digital marketing has been debunked. Like, what is digital marketing? So let me, Nayan, we got to know a lot about digital marketing. Like, we know what is a reality and what is a myth. Poster making is not digital marketing. We got to know today. So earlier we used to say, okay, I can do that. I know how to do this. And also, if you are not online, you are not doing it right way. And which platform is good for you, and what should you use? Like, which handle you should use for your business or for your brand awareness, based upon your service. And you should know more about that, your services and the kind of handle you are going to use, and how to go about it. And we learn a lot about lead generations using Facebook ads, and how you can just, with 5 rupee candy, you can invest, and how you can trap, or you can attract more audience, more people, and how you can just run the show. So overall, you have to just catch the clients like fishes, as we know, and you can just try SEO through Google, and using Google Analytics, you can go beyond. Like you can go beyond what you want to attain. Like you want to be aware of people about your brand. You want to have more people, give them more services. You can run some course, as you mentioned. Have the right people on
Rahul,
board.
over here, I'll just like keep a very simple liner. You should not go online and search for marketing courses or take up any seminars on what tools there are. There are tools, tutorials are there on YouTube. You don't need to get into paid formats for that because education is free out there. You learn from practical experiences. I can sit with you, give you all the gyan, you can understand it. But the actual practical application is when you actually learn. So instead of taking up a paid course where you are spending 5,000 rupees, I would rather suggest you put those 5,000 rupees somewhere on a page or work with somebody and put it out there. What's the worst case scenario? You will be burning 5,000 rupees. Best case scenario is you'll actually be learning something around it.
Yeah, right. So it's better to invest in yourself, learn, try, and fail, and relearn. And do not do the same mistakes. In this way, you will be becoming pro someday. So we are really fortunate to have you as a keynote speaker, Nayan, and it was so much learning, and we learned a lot. And we hope you all have enjoyed. And thank you so much, Nayan, for sparing time.
Thank you, Rahul. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you, all the attendees. You were really lovely to have as an audience.
So we will soon come next week with one more session, with one more master. Till then, all the best.